Okay? So to make an inference, or sometimes they'll ask you to, they might say which conclusion can be drawn. So they might use the word inference, they might use conclusion, depends. But those are parts of our reading, whether it's a book, whether it's you can also see it like in movies and TV shows. Sometimes they will just tell you pieces of information, right? Sometimes it's pieces of information that you have to figure out on your own. So, um, there's one I can think of only because I saw it the other day. Um, Raise your hand if you saw the last two Avengers movies, the ones where they were fighting against Thanos. Okay, so some of us have seen those. Okay, so when we let's talk about like the older one, not the newer one. Okay, so the older one, that first one of those Avengers movie with Thanos, at the end when he snaps, and then we see people kind of like turning into dust, right? They don't tell us what happened, but we do know some pieces of information. We know that he wanted to get rid of half of everybody, right? We know that if he gets all of the stones, that he can kind of like make a wish, right? He can make anything happen. So when he snaps, even though he doesn't go, ha ha ha, now I got rid of half of everybody, we know that's what happened because we go, oh, earlier he said he wanted this, and then earlier they said they wanted this. So now that I see this happening, I can figure this out without them having to tell me. Another example might be, and I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys. Have you ever like at your house sometimes there's like a snack or like sweets that you really like that you're like saving. Something that might be like special to you. Like if you really like let's say Oreos, or if you really like Hershey's chocolate or whatever it might be, right? Now those of you with brothers or sisters, has it ever happened that you were saving something and then they ate it before you got a chance to? Okay. So, let's say that you have that information. You know, I am saving let's say some chocolate cookies. I'm saving some chocolate chip cookies to eat later. And then you go to the kitchen later and they're gone. You don't see them anymore. And then your brother or sister walks into the kitchen and they have crumbs on their face. What do you think happened? Alexa?
He maybe ate the cookie.
They probably ate the cookies, right? So that's what an inference or a conclusion is. Your brother or sister didn't come into the kitchen and go, Alexa, I ate your cookies. Because they probably won't, right? No. But if your cookies are missing and they walk in and they've got like crumbs of cookies, or if they've got chocolate like around their mouth, you could go, it's a pretty good guess that I know what happened. Or like for those of you that have dogs, I'll give you a really good example. One time we had gotten KFC and we had ate the chicken and we left it there on the table. And then we had to go to Walmart to go grab something. And we left it there, and we had dogs there at the house, right? We had our dogs. Now, when we got back, the chicken was not on the table anymore. The box of chicken was on the floor, and all the chicken was missing. and one of my dogs smelled like chicken. So what do you think happened while we were gone? Jaylene?
Eat it.
The dogs ate it. It was honestly kind of impressive. They got up that high up on the table to get the chicken, but I don't know how they did it, but they did it. They got up on the chicken and they're sorry, they got up on the table and they ate all the chicken. What's up, Bailey? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, so it's the same thing where even though they don't tell us, hey, I ate this, we can use the clues and figure it out. What's up, Jaylene? Hmm?
And this might
Hmm?
no.
So you could figure it out, right? Even though the dog doesn't have to go to you and go, Jaylene, I ate the salad. You can figure out what happened. So that's what making an inference is whenever we're reading, or like I said, it could happen in movies and TV shows and things like that. But when you're reading, the author doesn't have to tell you everything. Sometimes the author will just give you clues, give you hints, and then they'll wait and they might give you a couple of hints or a couple of clues, and then you figure out this is what happened. It says here when authors of books don't tell everything about characters and about events, and the readers have to use the story clues and your background knowledge. So, background knowledge just means like stuff that's happened to you before in your past, things that you already know. So, it could have been, oh, I saw something like this in a different book, or oh, I read about this other thing, or even, oh, something like that happened to me. Like you were saying about your dog eating your food, or same thing with Bailey. Sometimes you might have had something similar happen to you. And so when the author gives us those clues, you can go, oh, that's what's happening. The author doesn't have to tell us everything, but we can figure it out. A good example of this that we do pretty often and that you can see pretty often, pretty easily, is when you're reading books and you're reading books meant for very, very young kids. Like, let's say kids that are in kindergarten or first grade, when they're kind of first starting to read. What they'll do is when when a character um like it is feeling something, some kind of emotion, they might just tell them so and so is angry, or so and so is happy, or so and so is sad. Now, in fourth grade, and as you get older and as you go into fifth grade and seventh grade and ninth grade and all the other upper grades, they don't do that as often. When you're reading books that were written for people that are in higher grades that are older, it doesn't say as often so and so is sad, so and so is angry, so and so is happy. Instead, they start making you think about it. They might say that the character is is smiling and laughing. So if a character is smiling and laughing, how might they feel? Bailey? Happy. If a character in a book or in a movie or in a TV show is I don't know, sitting down in the corner and crying, how might they feel? Jadine?
Sad and lonely.
Sad, maybe lonely. If a character in a movie or a TV show or a book kind of has their forehead all wrinkled up and they're like staring at somebody and maybe they're it's not a growling but like a grunting noise that they're like how do you think they're feeling? Christopher?
Yeah.
Mad. So when we're younger, the authors usually have to tell us things. They might tell us how people are feeling or what's happening. But as we get older, authors stop telling us everything. And they start trusting that we're going to figure some things out on our own too. What's up, Alexa? Yeah, no, it might just be frozen. Kind of what it looks like. So that's what inferences are. It's when the author just gives you clues and you have to figure out the rest. What's up, Nakai?
Did you already you were born?
No, not yet, Nakai. So, a conclusion is a lot like an inference. The big thing about making inferences and about conclusions is that when you make these inferences or when you make these conclusions, you have to make sure that you're using clues from the story. You can't just say, oh, well, I think this. And then if someone asks you, why do you think that? You just go, just cuz. Like if I said to you right now, I think Jaylene's mad at me. And you ask me, why do you think that? And I go, does that make sense just to kind of say like, oh, so and so's mad at me, or so and so's really happy, or so and so's really sad? And then I don't know why. I don't know why I know that. Now, if I said, I think Jaylene's mad at me, and then I said, because she's not talking to me, and because she's got her forehead all scrunched up, and she keeps looking at me, then do I have some proof that maybe she's angry with me? Yeah. Or if I said, let's go back to the example about like the cookies or the special snacks. If I said, my brother ate all my hot Cheetos. That how do you know? And I go, oh, he's my brother and hot Cheetos. I don't know why. But if I said, well, look at him, his lips are all red, he's got like the hot Cheeto dust all over his hands, then do I have some proof? Does it make sense for me to say it's him? Because I might say, oh, you know what? I bet my brother ate them. But is my brother the only one in the house that can eat the hot Cheetos? Anybody could have eaten them, right? So maybe I'm going, oh, it's my brother. My brother ate my hot Cheetos. But then my dad walks by and he's got hot Cheeto dust all over his fingers. Is it probably my brother that ate them? He has clean hands, no hot Cheeto dust, no nothing? No. I gotta use clues. So if my brother doesn't have hot Cheeto dust all over his hands, or he doesn't have hot Cheeto dust all over his lips, probably not him that ate them. I gotta look and see who's the one that has the red fingers and the red lips from eating the hot Cheetos. Because then I'll know who did it. Yeah, there's a commercial, Messiah. I don't know if you've seen it for, I think it's Doritos. No, it's Cheetos. And the dad has everybody in the kitchen And he goes, I found this special light that will show me who's been eating my Cheetos. And he turns on the light, and everybody's fingers and hands and lips are all orange. Yeah. And he goes, it was everybody? And I think even the dog had some, right? Oh, it was a cat? Yeah. So that was a good example. He couldn't say who it was that had been eating the Cheetos because he couldn't see them, right? It wasn't until he turned on the light that he had the clue to see, oh, it was everybody. Everybody had been eating the Cheetos, not just one person. So we got to make sure that when we're reading, yeah, it was like a blue light that turned all the Cheetos like super orange. But we have to make sure that when we're using or when we're making conclusions or making inferences, that we're not just guessing and we're not paying attention to the clues or to the proof that we can find in the stories. Because just like in those examples, imagine if your brother or your sister came into your room and just said, you stole, I don't know, my headphones or my iPad or whatever. And if you say, no, it wasn't me, and they go, no, it was you. And you go, well, how do you know? And they go, I don't know. It's you. I know it's you. It's your fault. Would that be fair for them to just say that you did something without having any proof? No. You would want there to be some kind of proof. So if they came in and they said, you took my headphones, how do you know? Because you're wearing my headphones. Then you might go, oh, well, okay, yeah, it's your headphones, sorry. Or if they come in and they say, hey, you took my iPad, and you go, how do you know? And they're like, because you're on my iPad. I can see it right there in your hands. Oh, sorry, your iPad. But if they just come in and say it was you who did it, and they don't have any proof, not holding it, it's not in your room, it could be someone else. The same way that with our conclusions, with our inferences, when we're reading, if we just make them without any proof, without any clues, we might be completely wrong. So you got to make sure that when you're making those conclusions, you're making those inferences, that we're also looking for those clues, those proof in our story. Just like you wouldn't just say like, oh, so and so is mad at me without being able to say, well, because they're not talking to me or because they're like stomping their feet on the ground when they walk. Without any clues, we really can't say what's happening. Without any clues, you really can't make a conclusion or an inference, or at least not one that's going to be correct. You have to make sure that you're using clues from the story.